All right, we are at the top of the hour, so we're going to get started here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's long coffee break. My name is Austin Whiteley. I'm a salesman out of our Fort Collins office. This week we have Andres from Munters here to discuss desiccant dehumidification. Andres, take it away.
Thank you. First of all, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Austin, and thank you, Long, for the opportunity. We hope this is helpful for you. And with that, let's get into the subject right away. Well, first of all, talk a little bit about Munters. We are a company founded in 1945, so we have a long way in the market. We were founded over multiple patents. Carl Munters was an inventor, and the philosophy of the company is to develop technology. I want to mention that because we are not only a manufacturer, we are always looking for new ways to contribute to develop technology, to provide you with better solutions. And part of that philosophy, we have identified some trends that we are trying to address through this product development, including climate change, increased digitization, population growth, most strict production requirements, and the resource scarcity that we are looking at the world these days. In those same terms, we are committed to have a 2030 net zero energy consumption. So that's important. Also, on the big picture of the company, mentioned that we have three business areas: air tech, data center technologies, and food tech, all of them contributing to those goals that we were mentioning. We are going to talk today about desiccant dehumidification, which is part of air tech. Air tech is our biggest division. It is about 2/3 of the size of the company. So let's go ahead and, just mention some other items that could be important for you. We are a global company with presence all over the world, including factories and service offices. Of course, we are very happy to have this partnership with Long, your local representative. We have three main factories in the US that are Virginia, Texas, and Massachusetts. Most of the products that we are going to talk about today are made in Amesbury, Massachusetts. That's about an hour from Boston. Also mentioned, we are open doors factory, so we're always happy to have customers at our facility to see what we are doing and how are we working. It's also very important to mention that we have, as part of our offering, as our commitment to you, is our service. We have a 24/7 tech support line. We have parts in stock, millions of parts in stock. We have a team of service techs all over the country. So, and of course, the partnership with Long. So that's an advantage, of course, for you. And this is the most important slide that for today that I want to take a little bit of time here. The purpose of this presentation is not going too deep into depth in the technology, but more like give you an idea on when can you use it and when can you take advantage of this technology. So when are you considering desiccants? When your process or your space needs a humidity under 50-degree dew point. 50-degree dew point is a measurement of the absolute humidity, just as a reminder here. Why do we say 50-degree dew point? Well, just as you do when you are designing an air conditioning system. If you need a 70-degree temperature for air conditioner, you cannot supply the air at 70 degrees because you need to take care of the internal load. So you deliver at 60, 55, at a lower temperature. Same happens with humidity. There's going to be a humidity load in the space or in the process. So if you are trying to control a 50-degree dew point, you need to deliver lower humidity air. So here's the rule of thumb, and again, this is a very important takeaway. For supply air in between or over 45 degrees, there's no need to use desiccant. Between 40 and 45 degrees, that's the gray line. You can use desiccant. It could be advantages. There could be advantages, or you can use cooling. And depending on the application, one could be better than the other one, but you could use those. Under 40-degree dew point, you need to use desiccant dehumidification. So keep that in mind for your applications. Quick reminder on the air conditioning processes, we have heating, we have cooling, dehumidification or humidification, or a combination of those. Focusing on dehumidification, there are two main ways to remove humidity from the air. The first one is through cooling. If just to visualize it, what we do when we use this principle, if you think about cold beer in the beach, how does it start to create or to form drops over the metal there? That's because the air, when it gets cold, it compresses at a molecular level, and it doesn't have room for that humidity vapor that it's in the air. So it doesn't have room, it condensates, it gets liquid, and it gets into your can. Now, to dehumidify by cooling, what we do is take advantage of that principle and pass air through a cold coil, which is creating that condensate, and we evacuate that condensate through a drain pan. So that the problem with that, or the limitation with that, is if that fluid is too cold, you start not only to condensate, but you freeze, and then you form a big block of ice, which is impractical and inefficient. So if you need to dehumidify deeper, you need to do it with a desiccant. The principle of the desiccant is that you will have substance, a material that is what we call hygroscopic. That means that it likes humidity. It's gonna attract the humidity. So what we do is have a fiberglass media. It's a series of flat layers with undulated layers that create a flute where the air goes through, creating a big surface area. Just again, for a visual example, 1 square foot of media of 400 millimeter depth, it creates a surface equivalent of a football field. So those are very narrow channels where the air goes through to maximize that surface area. Now, that's loaded with silica gel, and the silica gel is very hygroscopic. So as the air goes and stays in touch and gets in contact with the silica gel is going to trap it. It's going to absorb it, and it's going to trap it. Now, what happens on constant process? It's going to attract it, it's going to pull it, it's going to remove that humidity, and it's going to get full. So we need to reactivate it. So we mount that media on desiccant wheel, that's how we call it, and we separate it into chambers. On the other chamber, we pass hot air on a counterflow. So on that chamber, the hot air is evaporating the humidity, drying that media, and when the desiccant is going back to the process area, it's dry and ready to remove humidity again from the process. Very important note, and we're not gonna go deeper on this, but as we are removing humidity, we are also increasing the temperature. So that's an important consideration. We talked about different processes and how the two dehumidification styles can be more efficient under some conditions. So typically, the most efficient way to dehumidify the air is going to be combining them. Just putting a cooling coil where it's more efficient and when it's removing a lot of humidity up to 45 degrees, and then using the desiccant wheel to do the deep drying of the air. We at Munters have that commitment for developing those products. So we have proprietary technologies on the materials, on the media. I said silica gel, we have different formulations to make it optimum for your application. We also play a lot with the wheels, with the angles on those chambers, with the airflows, so you can always get the most efficient product. We are going to talk very briefly here about some applications. And I'm saying this, I've been working in this industry for 23 years. I keep finding more and more applications. So this is just a reference, but I hope you can visualize how some of the most common, and actually food is our #1 application, or has been, I gotta say right now, and an application that require super dry air is lithium-ion batteries. And right now we have a very high demand of those because of the electric vehicle development. But traditionally, food has been our #1 application, starting with applications like candy coating, just because the surfaces are sensitive to humidity, spiral freezer, low temperature drying, refrigerated houses, meat processing, loading docks, and in general, any process that requires lower temperatures, as most of the food industry requires. It's going to be very sensitive to the humidity, because again, we are going to be getting closer to that condensation condition. Of course, this is very attractive because it's FDA regulated, so there is a big need for those processes. We also have our #2 application as pharmaceutical plants. All those, either if it's powder, effervescent or not, or if it's a capsule for the medicine, they are sensitive to humidity. So where the product is exposed, all those areas, they need typically desiccant dehumidification to have that very accurate control. Some other typical applications are clean rooms, glass fabrication on that sandwich that we have on our windshield that has 2 layers of glass with a plastic film in between. That's another very typical application, such as plastic injection, also archival storage. And just to finish here with our product lines, we are talking about all kind of ranges, all the way from 300 to from 50 CFM to 300 CFM on predefined units, to modular units from 600 to 12,000 CFM that can have cooling coils, mixing boxes, heating coils, multiple options for reactivations, and the ICA product, which stands for Integrated Customer Handler, that goes all the way to 60,000 CFM, with multiple options for construction, for filters, coils, etc. So with that, I wanna leave it out here. We hope this is useful for you, and feel free to reach out to Long for more information.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining this week. If you have any questions about the Desiccant technology, please reach out to any of the Long representatives or salesmen. Join us next week with Ryan Nabalski. He will be here with Valent to discuss electrification and DOAS code compliance updates. Thank you all for joining, and we will see you next week.